Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be teaching you all about inputs in Python. So an input is basically when you ask a user something and they have the opportunity to respond to it. So let's get started. So let's say the name, or let's name a variable name, and it's equal to. Now for an input, you first have to write input, pretty self-explanatory. Then you have to add these curved brackets. And because you're going to ask them something in words, you have to use double inverted commas or single inverted commas. And because it's the name, let's say, what is your name? And let's leave a space. Now, let's run the program. And now, my Python program asks me, what is my name? I will put in my name, and that's where the program is finished, because there's nothing written after that in the code. Now, let's say, so now that we've got name, and if my name was Bob, then the variable name would have the value Bob. So now, if I was to print name, we're not using double inverted commas, because then it would just quite literally print the word name, and not the variable name. So now, if I write here Bob, then it's going to print Bob. Now, let's use an F string. So an F string is when you print something, but you also would like to add something else. For example, I can say, let's say, your name is. Now, if I just type in name here, that's not going to work, because then it's quite literally going to ask me what's my name, let's say Bob, and it's going to say your name is name. And if we would like to print the actual name of the user that they've input, then we have to end this here, put a colon there, add a comma here, and type in the name here. Because then this would count as a variable. Since it's not in green and not within commas, inverted commas, it's going to show my name. So now if I say, what is your name? Bob. Then it's going to say, your name is Bob. Now, this was name. And let's look at something like age, for example. So now if we have age, then since it's a numerical value and we would like to keep the age as an integer and not as a string, we would have to add this at the beginning and a pair of curly brackets at the end. This would show that the value being stored here is an integer, so that later on I can do age is equal to age plus 1. We'll get into this later, but basically what this does is whatever age I put in, it's going to add 1 to it. And then we can print something like happy birthday, and we can print something like you are so many years old. Now to type that, again commas, we have to put in age, commas, inverted commas, years old. So now when I ask the user for their age, let's say they put in 14. Oops, it asked for name. We need to change that to age. So what is your age? I know that's not quite grammatically right, but it is what it is. So let's type in 14. Happy birthday, you're 15 years old. That happens because I put age is equal to age plus 1. And when Python takes the value of a variable, it takes the latest value. So even though I input the value 14 in this line, the latest line, which is the last line, was this one. And here it adds 1 to that number. So 14 plus 1 gives you 15. Now, for any other method where you would like to change the number, you have to add something before the input. So in my last video, I explained the 4 types of variables to you. We've looked at integers, we've looked at string as of now. Let's look at float. Float or floating point is basically when you take a value, however, the value is in decimal. So let's say price. And because it's a float, let's put in uh, how much is your total? Let's say of a shopping spree or something like that. And let's put in 5.99. Very cheap, but it is what it is. It doesn't output anything. Now let's print your total is, then we put in a colon here just for aesthetic looks, and then we can put in price. Let's put a dollar sign here so that it also kind of looks good. And oops, yeah, and let's put in a dollar sign. So there you go. Now when I press this, and let's say my total is 287.34. Your total is in dollars 287.34. That's a float. And I hope you understood all that. And I'll see you in the next video. Shriyans out.